My dreams are nightmares. How can I sleep? You got the gun against me.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Batman Arkham Knight Scarecrow figure. Now here we have Scarecrow in the box, as you can see the figure himself, his little mask accessory. He is a third figure in this line. Really nice packaging. On the side we have a little picture of Scarecrow. On the back, the same picture of Scarecrow, just in black outline. Other figures in this assortment include Batman, the Arkham Knight, Scarecrow, and Harley Quinn. Surprisingly, Arkham Knight wasn't released with the rest of Series 1. He's coming out later, I'm guessing after the game's release at some point. But really nice packaging. You can see the whole figure. What I'm going to do now is take a little break, get him opened up, and we'll go on to the rest of his review. So sit tight, everyone. And so here we have Scarecrow posing out of the packaging. Now let's get a good 360 of this guy. I really do enjoy this figure a lot. There are some problems I have with him, but I'll go more on that in a little bit. Before we get on to Scarecrow himself, he did come with one accessory, that being this mask. Let's actually zoom in on the mask. Let's actually zoom in as much as we can. That's a little too much. And there we go, the camera's focusing. As you can see, there's a lot of nice details on this mask. Well, there's still paint on my finger from Scarecrow, but more on that later. The back is fairly detailed as well. It's still painted really nicely. It has a strap going on it. So this is a really cool accessory. I'm not sure if this is supposed to go with Scarecrow himself, or maybe it's just like the Scarecrow thug mask. I don't know, the game hasn't come out. But what you can do is, you can take little Scarecrow here, you can pull his hood back, slide the mask on, just be sure to line it up with his eyes, and then slide the hood over the head. Let's see if I can do this. There we go. And it's supposed to look something like that, and I don't know, I'm not much of a fan of this look on Scarecrow. It's not even lined up with his eyes. There we go. It's all Jason Voorhees-esque. It's not lining up with his face at all, but you get how it's supposed to go. But since we're here, let's actually get a good look at that face. That is some really nice face work. You can see the mask, or I'm not sure if it's a mask or his actual face in the game, because it looks like the mask is like melted onto his face. Nope, can't zoom in anymore. Let's actually... But yeah, you can see a lot of nice details on his hood. It is a soft rubber, so it does move around independently of Scarecrow's head, so it's not like Red Hood. His head also moves around independently, so you don't have to move the mask, or move his head along with the hood he has. And then you can see all these little tubes he has. This one's going from like his jaw all the way to his back. I'm guessing it comes out into these tubes. And then this is his noose. I'm not sure the proper way the noose is supposed to be. I don't think it's supposed to be sticking out that far. Looks stupid going that way. I try to have it off to this side, but it still looks bad either way you look at it. The little air tanks are nicely painted. Out of the three I have so far, he is the most detailed one I can speak of, and you can see it all in like the texture in his jacket, all the tubing running down his legs, the wrapping. Killer Croc did a big number on this guy, and yeah, it wasn't Batman that messed up Scarecrow, it was actually Killer Croc. And let me move the camera back out so we can go on to his articulation, which it confuses me a little. And my brother's up looking for a midnight snack. Everybody say hi to Nicky B. But yeah, his articulation confuses me for the most part. He has a ball jointed head. He can look, well, he can look down and up slightly. can tilt his head nicely. Head is on a ball joint, so you get all that nice range of movement. His arms are on a ball joint, but both of them are different. You can see this one is like an actual ball joint. This one is like a ball hinge because it goes into the shoulder. This one goes, but they both go relatively far out. This one spins at the bicep, a little under the ball hinge. This one spins right here, just before the elbow. So you can see it rotates here. He has a single jointed elbow in both arms. This one is a little stiff on mine, but you can get it to go nicely. His wrist does spin, and it's the same for both hands. This wrist does spin, and I actually forgot to show the detail on his little fear gas thing right here, but that is some nice detail on it. You can see there is some really nice painting, and the paintwork is just phenomenal on it. Kudos to DC Collectibles for being able to do this. One thing I don't like is that these are not soft plastic. They are actually harder plastic, so be careful when messing around with Scarecrow. His little fear gas spikes might break on you, so be cautious on that. You know, if you're going to be messing around with him, do be careful around this part, because these are likely to break on you if you mess around with them too much. He has no torso joint, but he does have, I'm guessing it is a ball joint because he does have some up and down movement, but he does have side to side movement. His legs are on a barbell joint, so they go out, back, or they go forward, back, and out. And it's the same for both of them. And this is where the articulation confuses me a little. His right leg has no thigh swivel, but his left leg does. And I'm trying to think maybe this brace has something to do with it, because maybe this brace does make it hard for him to pose, and this gives it a little more options on displaying him. This one has no thigh swivel at all. You can see the tubes are sculpted straight onto it. Still really nice. He does have a single bend in both knees, so his right knee does bend as well as his left knee. So it's really nice they got this brace working nicely. And he does have a boot swivel in the right leg, so you can see it's a spin at the calf. Doesn't look like it would spin even though it would be hindered. And then the way they made this is that, let's actually see if I can zoom in and show you how they did his boot. You can see it is sculpted into the brace. Like, you can see this piece moves with the hinge, so I wouldn't recommend moving this leg around too much because it might break on you at some point. But he does have a rocker on this ankle, and that confuses me because you're not going to get any function out of it because of the brace. And let's actually zoom the camera back out. But this leg has the hinge, rocker ankle, so this leg makes sense. This, like I said, he's just a really confusing figure when it comes to his articulation. But he's still a really awesome looking figure, so what I'm going to do now is get him posed up, take a little break, and then we'll go on to my final thoughts, so sit tight everybody. And so here we have Scarecrow posed for my final thoughts, and before I forget, I did forget to do this, but here's him standing next to Batman, and Batman is taller than Scarecrow. He's also beefier than Scarecrow. But as you can see, here's how they scale up. You can have Scarecrow like jab Batman with the fear toxin, I guess. But overall, I really do like Scarecrow. I don't think he's a bad figure. I just am puzzled by his articulation. Like, he has a decent range of articulation, it's just some of it is really confusing, and after playing around posing him, this thigh swivel is needed. Like I suspected, it's because this leg is going to be harder. Actually, you know what? He needed a thigh swivel on this leg too, because Look at the way his ankle is on this one, and getting him to stand, he's more on the coat like that. But anyway, going on, he is a really nice figure. I do love the deco on him. He's really well detailed, and there's just so many things that could have went wrong on this figure, and it didn't, and I really do like that. The problem with it is that his design does hinder a lot of his articulation. Even though they did a really good job giving us what they could, he still will have trouble standing in a lot of poses. Right here he is standing on his coat, so that's giving him a little extra support. But if you can find this guy at any comics book store, at GameStop, I really do recommend you pick him up, and he's falling down now. He's a really nice figure. He is probably the most difficult to stand. I haven't got a chance to mess around with Harley yet, but in due time. He is a little harder to stand, but when you get him standing, he will hold his pose. I just can't get mine in a really decent pose, and hopefully... Also, it doesn't help that the ankle on mine is a little loose right here, so like putting too much weight will move it forward and make him topple over. But if you can find Scarecrow, I highly recommend you pick him up. He is really necessary for this collection. He is, from what we've seen, kind of the main antagonist to Arkham Knight, so with all that said and done, I still recommend Scarecrow, and this is King of Dragons 5000 saying, I will see you later. Take care, everybody.